Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Operation Monster Force Apophis Legion Undead Phantom Core Trooper. And I'm down to just this figure and the other Undead figure. It has been a whirlwind. Now I still have two accessory packs that I have to get to, and I will get to them soon enough. I will get to them before, well, Friday, and the Punkathon, which if you're new here and you don't know what the Punkathon is a 36-hour live stream where all donations go to Toys for Tots here in the Metro Detroit area. It's going to be a shameless plug, I guess I might as well say, because we're here. So anything the channel makes, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all goes to Sergeant Red's, where we buy toys for, again, Toys for Tots. I'll take money through PayPal so we can cut out the middleman, which is YouTube. But anyway, it's a great cause. We raised over $3,000 last year. We want to raise more this year, and there'll be some other stuff tied to it. But anyway, let's get to this figure right here. That was enough self-promotion, I guess. Anyway, we're gonna look at this guy. He is Undead. He does look cool. It means we're probably going to get other military-style figures, which I am pretty excited by. And you can see that wonderful photography right there. On the inside, we got the comic panel that kind of tells a little bit about it. Here we have the actual figure and everything that he does come with. On the back, we got another photo shoot right there. Then we got the cross cell. Now this figure, again, gridiron designed the weapons. There is a saw machine gun in here, which I don't believe that we have seen before, so I'm excited to get that out. It's probably a version of one of the Gridiron Studios guns that they've used, because that's all they've done is take their designs and turn them into actual mold injection. Some things are different, some things are better, some things aren't. So anyway, let's get into this. I'm not going to ramble on anymore, but before we do, if you like this type of stuff, you like when I drop the Operation Monster Force stuff, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop an Operation Monster Force review. Alright, figure is out, and if you're new to the channel, I like to go over stuff that's already reused. Maybe you've seen it on other channels. Hopefully you've seen them all on my channel and all the reviews that I've done. So anyway, quickly, this is the Tombstone stand. I do think it's really cool, only I don't use stands, as I'll show you here. All these figures I use without stands. There's really no reason to have stands. These figures, most figures stand perfectly fine. But let's say you just want them there and you want to use the Operation Monster Force. I think this is cool. I do wish for every season they would have redesigned the Tombstone so you can have multiple ones in your graveyard. But anyway, we see Operation Monster Force. We see a whole bunch of like broken parts of the cement. All right, you got two pegs right there, and then here it's going to tell you that it's the Apophis Legion Undead Phantom Core. So you know who it does go to. All right. Next, we'll look at the hands. Again, I've gone over so many of these. So we have these open hands. All right, and these are gloved hands, all right? So you're not going to see any fingernails, but you do have some sort of knuckle protector, knuckle dusters, whatever you want to call it. You can see the wrinkles in them. And I love having lots of hands, but eventually I feel you have too many hands, right? It's good at first, but eventually you just have too many. All right, so here we go. We're looking at this here. Here's the punching ones. All right, and again, the knuckle protectors. You still have the wrinkles in the glove. Here we have our C cup, and it makes a C, if that's what you're wondering. These are good for knives, swords, different things like that. They don't have the trigger finger. The trigger fingers are actually on it, and we'll take a look at that in a second. All right, and all the same design, so you know it's the same gloves. It is the same gloves that's come with every single hand. All right, so you either have zombie hands, open hands. Now you have some wolf hands, and then you have the gloved hands. On him, he has the trigger fingers. All right, and again, you can see the detail within the knuckle protectors. So you don't get them, I mean, you can get them mixed up because there's so many different colors. Then we get the zombie hands. I do like the zombie hands. They are both different, so they're just not remade. All right, so you can see all the blood on it. You can see like a fingernail, looks like it's kind of ripped off right there. And the paint that they use is definitely... it's kind of shiny, so it makes it look like it's maybe some new blood, but you can also see that this hand is starting to decay. On this one here, you can see the nail is literally just ripped off, or the top of the finger is ripped off. And again, there you can see that it's ripped down. It looks awesome. And then you get trigger fingers. Now, again, they gave me two of the same trigger finger. Oh, as you end up having some, I guess these are QC issues. It's a mistake. I know the other zombie did not have it, so. But you can see here, the same thing right here. Now, I guess it depends in your world. Are your zombies just walking dead, or are they actually thinking? Can they still attack and do different things like that, right? So you can kind of see he's just decaying. And unfortunately, two of the same trigger fingers. Maybe this one here will have two of the other trigger fingers. All right, then we get the blast effects. Every single figure that comes with a weapon, almost every single one, comes with 3 blast effects and 1 smoke effect. This one here, we have the big one. It's got the big plume coming out. This one is just pretty much all orange, but it's so dark here, or there's so much of the translucent plastic that it looks darker, and then it fades out, which I think does look pretty good. All right, we have the middle-sized one. You have a little bit of a different explosion popping out. I assume this is coming from, let's say, like a submachine gun. Again, same thing, translucent orange. Then we get what I assume comes from the pistol. I like this one. You can actually see some explosion coming out of it, and then just kind of tracing into into the bullet. Now, it would be cool if they had the bullet, but they don't do that. All right, and then we have the smoke effect. This is great for camera shots, and it's nice that Hasbro has some, like Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe. I think Valaverse has some. So having different smoke effects, different blast effects is cool, because every rifle is going to fire a little bit differently. All right. So he does come with a knife and a sheath. And these knives are pokey, so don't give them to a kid. The detail is really good on them. All right, so they are sharp, and they're not going to cut you, but they're thin and sharp, but they're pokey. You can puncture someone. You got the guard right there, nice handle that's painted, and then here we're going to have the sheath. And on this sheath, there's some paint right down there. You got the green. You can see the snap that's going to hold it in. And the other thing about these is they go in really tight. So if you're going to pull them out, you want to make sure that you pull it straight out, or you will snap this. I snapped it on one of Season 1's when I did the review a long time ago. I don't remember if it was a review or not, but somebody noticed that when I went to pull it out, I went to pull this off the back, right there, and I pulled it this way, and literally the knife just snapped right off. All right, so be careful with that. On here, we have a blank patch for where it tells you Phantom Core. All right, so let's say you want to use this with G.I. Joe or something else. You can put a blank one in rather than, get some Winsor & Newton and get rid of that. We have the pistol that's come with, I believe, every single figure other than Caligari and the Sleepwalker. I think this pistol has come with every single one of these figures in both of these waves, Season 0 and Season 2. A nice looking weapon. It has a little bit of weathering. This one's black. So you can see the grip right here. You can see the rivets holding on the handle there. You can see the trigger guard and the trigger. Slide does not move, but you do have a port for blast effects. On this side here, you kind of see the same thing. And this side here, you can actually see the safety right up there. Now, as for the blast effects, I have noticed a lot of these blast effects are pretty tight. And some of them I've actually had to twist in. But be careful, because, for me, I don't really want to snap these too far in, and then you're stuck with, let's say, a peg in there that you can't get out. And then for the smoke effect here, it fits pretty nicely. All right. Now, I believe these are actually from Wave 1. I don't believe that this is the gridiron design. I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and look at some of the Wave 1, or Season 1 figures. All right. As for the helmet, we actually saw, I've seen this now, I think, a couple times in one of the accessory packs, and in one of the, in the Cobra Trooper, Cobra Zombie. But here's the helmet, very pliable. It fits, it seems a little big. Let's just my opinion, but the blue one looks really good on the police officer. So if you haven't done that yet, go pop on a police officer. You'll probably really like it. So quickly here, this is where we're going to put the nods. You can see kind of what I believe is mesh that it has on it. All right, and you got a little bit of protection there. I'm not sure what that device is on top there, but it's camouflage, so it does look good. You got a little pouch right there on the back. All right, so they're going to give you the earpieces. All right, and they do look really nice. Painted brown. You got this black. On the inside, you can actually see the cushion. Now, at least on one of them, my biggest issue was getting these things to plug in. And this has been an issue with a lot of the stuff that they've done. And when I say issue, it just takes a little bit more work than someone who cracks open a G.I. Joe Classified thinking that everything's just going to fit right in. So, this thing here should plug in just like this. Now, this is where I feel they should have used a hard plastic on this. The nods actually use a hard plastic, and this. So my suggestion is you go and we heat this up just with regular hot water, and then you'll be able to plug everything into this. All right. Here's the mask. All right, and it's got a light right there. This is going to plug into both sides, and once the mask is on, it actually looks pretty good. You can't really tell that the helmet seems a little too big. All right, same with the nods. But you can see the ear protection right there. It's on this side. A lot of nice color to it. The ventilation system right there. And then we get the nods, which are actually going to move up and down. So in your down position, and then your up position, okay? And as you can see there, they actually have a little bit of wear on it. They do fit onto the face pretty nicely. All right, so that's how all those set. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly stop this, heat this up, then we'll come back and we'll see if we can get these things on here without a problem. I will say this one here, for the most part, does fit in without heating this up. And that's because it uses a harder plastic. So this is good that it's smaller because you want to fit these things in, but because it uses the same softness, it makes it hard for that thing to fit in there. So let me stop it. I'm going to fit these in, and then we'll be back to the review. All right, so I heated this up. Just use regular hot water. These do take a little bit of work to get into, and only heat this up. Rather than go on the internet and whine and cry about it, do a little research on how toys work, especially these higher end ones. But I'm not going to lie, this here is very frustrating, and I was very frustrated putting the other ones on. And I will say this, once you're able to get these ones on, especially this mask, it seems to work better than the other one. Okay, only because it stays in on both sides. But when they did this, somebody wasn't thinking. And what I mean by that is, I don't know if it's someone at the factory, someone at the design, wasn't thinking that these need to be a harder plastic. So we have seen them make design changes from season 1 to season 0 and 2. Hopefully they'll do the same thing. So unfortunately, heating this up, because this is so soft, it's going to take some work to get that in there. Once you get it in there, I would just say, just leave it there. Decide which one you want to use. All right. And just kind of leave it there. All right. So that sides in right there. And the problem is, again, if this was a harder plastic rather than this rubber that they're using, this piece would slide in perfectly fine. But what's going to happen is your hands are going to get sore, and you're probably going to go whine and cry on Facebook. Not that I've seen people do this, but they do. So there's the mask right there. Now, unfortunately, you got these pieces down here. You kind of got to pry them down like that. Then the helmet's going to slide right on up. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. All right. There's a lot of stuff going on there that kind of gets in the way. Once we put the nods on, all right. And the nods actually fit pretty nicely. You can see how it sets. All right, and now the helmet actually looks pretty good. It doesn't look like it's too big for the figure. But once again, there's just some stuff. I mean, I think Hasbro with the G.I. Joe Classified does a really good job with their helmets. They're like a perfect softness. Valiverse, I think, does a really bad job. They have a harder plastic, and if it doesn't fit perfectly to the head, it doesn't set properly. Where something like this and the Hasbro ones, you can swap them out between different characters and different size heads. All right. But if this is too soft, same with the ears, it's not going to set right. Just my personal opinion. All right. So we have this head sculpt here. And we've already seen this head sculpt in the Cobra zombie. Just painted a little bit differently. Here we can see the I believe some of his brain right there, scratched off, ripped off, big chunk taken out there. Still has very nice hair. That's the one thing you might want to work on. Maybe not having such perfect hair. You got these nice green eyes, big slash down it. I think this is the same head sculpt. I don't have any near me because these are all the same head sculpts, just zombified. All right, but you can see the teeth. You can see the big chunk taken out down there. The ears are there, but they do a really good job with the red being blood, just kind of making it look like it's still pretty fresh. It even looks like his ear has been ripped off. And then we get to this. And I actually went to this before the figure and last before the figure because I really like this. So I believe this is a saw machine gun. As we look at it here, it's supposed to have a collapsible stock. You've got your trigger guard. I'm sorry, you have your grip, then your trigger guard, and your trigger right there. You can see which way the bullets are supposed to go, and they're going to exit out. All right. You get the port for blast effect. A nice barrel. You got your iron sight right there. All right. Now it'd be cool if this had an actual bipod. It looks like there's supposed to be a bipod underneath here, but it's not going to open up. It does have a removable box magazine here. At least I think it's considered a magazine. But you can actually see how it's going to open up. You can also, let's say you have a saw viper and you want to run the ammo chute into there. I actually use the the piece in the other unit for the saw viper, but this would actually fit perfect. The ammo chute will actually fit into there. That comes with the G.I. Joe saw viper. But you can't do that with the other weapon because it has to have the big saw underneath it. So that's the design of it. I think this is actually pretty cool. As for the actual figure, as you can see, he is zombified. I'm ready to actually get a few more military figures like this. So again, perfect hair. He's got the big slash right down his head. You got the ears sitting right there. You can see the blood up top. You can see where he's completely decaying around his nose. His mouth has been ripped up. Cheek looks like it's kind of ripped off. And it looks like they're going with green eyes with these figures. All right. We have the Phantom Core logo right there. These vials, I'm not sure what the vials are, but they do pop off. So you can pop this off. You can pop this piece off. And you don't have many with this one, but with some of the other figures, there's all these different spots, different things that you can put in there, not just the knife that we could put up there if we want. All right. The actual plate carrier, which this is perfectly, I mean, this is really good because you can take this off and have him as a, a zombie walking around without this and use this on one of your G.I. Joe characters. All right. On the back here, you have your nice plate, your plate protector, your plate carrier, the plate's on the back. You can see the nice buttons right here, or not buttons. This is this is the end of the straps, and then you can see where it's supposed to clamp into. Now this is where the mushroom comes off. You're gonna pop this off, all right, and then up here is the spot for 2 magazines. They don't give you 2 magazines with this, as this figure wouldn't have magazines for that. You got a nice big pouch right here. You get his utility tool right there. You got a pouch there, pouch with some shotgun shells. As we get down here, we get 3 little carabiners. It looks like you have some more shotgun shells, pouches all around the belt. So all this stuff can be utilized on different figures, all right? As for his arm, he's ripped up behind the shoulder. And then he has, you know, your military uniform. And then you can see that his arm has been ripped up. And he still has his trigger fingers. On this side, the shoulder's been ripped up. I think they're the same shoulder. I think they're the same shoulder, just swapped. So that there is there, and that right there is there. But it's nice because you're not going to notice it's the exact same. Here on the bicep, it is ripped up, and you can see all the gore and everything. Nothing really that I see on the forearm. As we get down to the legs, he's ripped up on the thigh over here. He has his their new style drop-down holster. The old style, these things popped out. Very frustrating. It used this peg system. Really good idea. It poorly executed. This way, it's just connected. And as we can see, it does look nice. All right. It's got your straps, your hook, not your hooks, your clamps right there. We get the same shells for the kneecaps right there. Then he has this big chunk taken out of his his shin. It's not really his shin. His shin's right there. Partially his shin and his calf, and nothing over here. So these guys do have boot. Well, actually, he does. Like this style doesn't have a technical boot cut. It's hidden underneath here. This side you will not have a boot cut because of this. No way to do that without breaking the articulation, and I'm fine with that because this is supposed to be a zombie-like character. I don't know what types of fighting he's going to be doing. As for the articulation, he can look up pretty nicely, and he can look down and side to side. Now the necks will pop off. If you're going to pop the neck off, use some hot water, heat this up, then pop it off, and then you put the new neck on. You're going to want to heat it up again and pop it on. There's a hard ball underneath here. This is the softer plastic. It will snap in there. Pain in the ass. I'll just say that right now. All right. As for his T-pose, you get that. You get a shoulder swivel, bicep swivel, double pinless elbows, and the hands are going to move. All right, he does have butterfly joints, but they only go over so far. They work more towards the back. That's the butterfly joint. He does have the diaphragm cut, and he works pretty well because of how short this is. And then he can turn side to side. There's his Jean-Claude Van Damme, drop down hips. There's your thigh swivel, double pinless knees. And then on this one, he just has an ankle rocker, no boot cut. On this side here, same thing, double knees, ankle rocker, but his boot cut is hidden up underneath here. It's the same way that Shipwreck for G.I. Joe Classified, him, Doc, they use the same type of pants, and it's hidden really well. I really do like it. I think it's a good idea. All right, a couple of things that we'll quickly talk about if you're still here. So we can take this off, and this pops off here. I'm not going to do it because it is a pain to get in. All right, so this pops off. There's one mushroom. You can also replace these. All right, so with Series 1, if I remember correctly, they all came with 2 different versions of these, and also in these packs right here, okay, there's a separate, I think it's hidden inside there, there's another one of these, all right, and people have been complaining that they can't get it to snap back on, and it is difficult because this is a harder plastic. So what you want to do, if you pop this off, you're probably going to have to pop this off, but you might be able to get away with not doing it. But Pop this off. You're going to heat the figure because you want to heat the plate carrier. Once the plate carrier is heated, again, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes in just hot water, you don't heat this up because you don't want the mushrooms being just as soft as this, because then you're trying to push soft plastic into another soft hole. Hello? Many of us have kids, some don't. That's how it works. So you're able to pop that in there. Same with this here, okay? So if you pop this off and you're having a hard time getting that on, all you have to do is heat up this side over here. Not this side, because that's where the mushroom is. Heat this side up, let that soften, close it, and then take some sort of tweezers or something, and then push up against it from the bottom and push this in with your thumb. I mean, technically you could use needle nose pliers, but then you risk digging into the plate carrier. Don't be that guy, all right? Don't be that guy that flips out and yells and screams, rather than taking a little bit of time and figuring out if there's some YouTubers or multiple YouTubers that are explaining to you how to make this work. All right. So let's pop this head off, because I really like this head here. This head here, this face reminds me of the Walking Dead dude who, the one with Glenn that gets his head bashed in. All right, so I think he fits absolutely perfect. I can't think of his name. I'm sure someone in the comments will tell me. As for the saw machine gun, now their hands are not as soft and pliable as I wish they were. But here we go. This actually goes in pretty nicely. I have complained about their trigger fingers. I feel that they're bent over too much, which makes it sometimes hard to get into the trigger. All right. So here we have this nice saw. All right. And you can hold the saw. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult. You got this big box right here. All right. And a lot of times when you're trying to pose these figures, or any figure, you want the elbow bend to be over here, depending on how long the stock is. Remember, these aren't human, like these aren't real, so it's plastic. Where in real life, there'd be a lot of soft on you that you can push into, all right? I always like to pry open the hand rather than use like an open grip hand, because then they actually grab it and it looks like they're actually firing the gun, all right? So no problem there. If I want to pop this on here, I can pop this on the back of them. You just kind of twist it. That goes in nicely. Again, do not grab the knife and pull it off. Actually, take the knife out and then pop that off. All right. As for standing the figure, no problem there. If you want him just dragging his foot, he's a zombie. Again, in your zombie world, how does your figures work, right? I don't know. It's your world. So here he is just kind of dragging his foot. All right. As for swapping out the hands, you got to have at least one zombie hand on, right? Got to have at least one zombie hand on. They pop in and out. I know on the Series 1, people complained that they thought the peg was too small. These aren't going to stay on. Have absolutely no problem at all. All right. So here he is as a zombie, dragging along, dragging that leg there, and still carrying his saw. But I can't imagine that they're that smart to use the saw. But anyway, there it is. That's your zombie. I don't know what else to say. I'm done. All right, so there it is. That is one of your Apophis legions. Again, these are the zombies. These are the, I guess, undead. And no, I have not moved him, because sometimes you get like a perfect shot to that you want to take a picture of, and I use my iPhone for everything. So I need to get him. I just need to take a picture like this, not only for the thumbnail, but I want to do an actual picture with it. So anyway, there it is. If you like zombies, I think you're going to like these. If you like zombies and you're like, hey, I have extra stuff that I can use because my zombies don't use weapons, awesome. They didn't damage any, or they didn't put any paint on the plate carriers, the belts, the weapons, so it works out perfect. You're kind of getting a zombie character, hands and everything, And then you're also getting extra weapons. So maybe you want to put that on, let's say, Roadblock, because you're like, hey. Or maybe you want to upgrade or update your Rock and Roll, your newer version, your classified one. You're going to throw this on him rather than have him have the big M60. They both look awesome. Anyway, I'm done. I don't know what else to say. But you stayed this long. So if you haven't yet, I'm going to ask you, please take a second. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop an Operation Monster Force review. I almost forgot. I've done so many of these. Now don't go anywhere. Maybe you're new here and you're like, hey, have you done more? Well, you're in luck. Or maybe you're just like, hey, I've seen you before. I'd like to see more. You're going to like this video, and down here will be a playlist of all the Operation Monster Force stuff that I reviewed. Take care.